deeds. He whom God guides will not be misled, and he who misleads will not be guided. May Allah guide us all. My fellow Muslims, all you who believe, fear God, and say a steadfast saying, or Muslim, this month of yours that is fasting is departed from you and has passed, just as it came before and came to you. And there is nothing but it will leave, and only God Almighty will remain. For He is the remaining, and among His name is the remaining. Glory be to Allah. The month of fasting left us. So what was taken from us, and what did we learn, and what did it tell us about ourselves? Ramadan revealed to us that we can do things that we thought were difficult and heavy tasks. Ramadan taught us to complete the Quran once, twice, and more than that. It is most likely that many have read the entire Quran in this month of Ramadan, which is something that they did not do before. Ramadan taught us that fasting is not an arduous act of worship that only the pious among the righteous servants of God can bear. Here are the people who have fasted a whole month without fatigue, effort, or hardship. So why were they depriving themselves of fasting the other days before that? Whoever fasts Ramadan can fast 3 days of each month and fast Mondays and Thursdays and other voluntary fast. Ramadan taught us that we can pray the strange 7 rakahs or 9 rakahs or 11 rakahs and not feel much fatigue and trouble. So why we are only limited to 1 or 3 rakahs in each? My fellow Muslims, look at how we wrong ourselves by neglecting many good and easy deeds with misplaced thoughts and illusions. And God Almighty says, but the wrong themselves. It is unfair to be lazy about performing this virtuous act of worship. Ramadan taught us, and others who were afflicted with the scourge of smoking, alcohol, drinking, and adultery, that he can abstain from it for long hours, and his life does not decrease in anything, and does not change in his body or in his soul, and that fasting is a great way to leave it and keep away from it, financial and physical. The greatest scourge of it is that it is one of the obstacles to the ways of good to the human soul, and that smoking, drinking alcohol, and other acts of diseases is one of the people's barriers from getting up for Fajr prayer in congregation in the mosque, and inspect the worshippers in your mosque and see how prevailing attendance it is for smokers, drunkards, or for those who refrain from it. Every drink and food has a character that impresses it in the soul of his drinker or eater, just as pride is in the people of camels and mercy and tranquility in the people of sheep. As the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, may God praise and peace be upon him, taught, and it was not forbidden to eat pork, except that it kills jealousy in the soul of its eaters. The smokers or alcohol drinkers makes it difficult for its owners to stand up for the Fajr prayer. So whoever is among his family should hasten to leave it, for goodness is all good in leaving it and abstaining from it. May God bless you, and may the Holy Quran, may Allah benefit me and you in the verses of the Holy Quran. My fellow Muslim brothers, in the authentic hadith narrated by Muslim in Sahih, it was stated that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever fasts Ramadan and follows it with 6 days of Shawwal, it is as if he has fasted the whole year. And one of the purposes of this hadith is to refer to man's succession in doing good deeds and continuing to do them. God Almighty has imposed obligation in Islam and has legislated act of worship that the Muslim does constantly. So God imposed the 5 daily prayers and prescribed supplicatory prayers with them, so that the Muslim does not stop praying on his day and night. And God imposes zakat and prescribed charity with it, so that the Muslim does not stop giving alms from his money to the poor and the needy. And God Almighty imposes Hajj and prescribed Umrah with it, so that the Muslim does not cut off from the house of Almighty Allah. And God imposed fasting and prescribed with it known type of fasting, so that the Muslim does not stop worshiping fasting. So continue. May God have mercy on you, on what you used to do of righteous deeds, and strive against yourself, for the soul is inclined to ease and rest, and the soul is also on what it is accustomed to, and that continuity in obedience begins from the first days after a month of Ramadan. Lastly, I pray that Allah accept our fasting and supplication and all acts of ibadah. Allahumma Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana wa qina azaban nar.